Parents of an eligible Canadian citizen or a PR, they apply, and if approved, they are allowed to come to Canada and live in Canada with their children for a period of up to 2 years at one stretch. Today we are discussing super visa applications, a few important aspects of these applications, and the elements and evidence requirements for these applications. Super visa applications are the applications for temporary resident visas in which the parents of an eligible Canadian citizen or a PR, they are allowed to come to Canada and live in Canada with their children for a period of up to 2 years at one stretch. If you have been issued a super visa in your passport, there's a likelihood that you are issued multiple entries visa and you could avail the 2 years duration multiple times during the validity of your passport. Now, super visas are temporary resident visas, which means that you must possess temporary intent of coming to Canada. You at all times should keep that intent, and all your documentation in your application must show that the purpose of your coming to Canada is only temporary. Nowhere in your mind have you thought about remaining here beyond the validity of your stay. You have to demonstrate that you possess enough social, economic, and other ties back home, which makes Canada not a very attractive destination for you to stay on and never return to your home country. Now, besides these, there are some peculiar requirements for super visa applications, both from the child, from the host, as well as from the applicant. Your child or your grandchild, whatever the case is, he or she must write an invitation letter to you in which he or she would tell about his or her status in Canada, the size of his family. He or she would explain minimum necessary income. We'll come to this topic a little later in this video. Calculate the number of people, list the number of family members, what that person is doing for the living, and how does he intend to entertain the parent or host the parent when they are in Canada. That invitation letter must be a complete letter, and there are certain points which must not be omitted in that application letter. Now, the second requirement is that they have to show that they have to produce evidence of their relationship. So one, they will explain in the letter, but then they must lead evidence like birth certificate or some other document to show that there exists a bona fide relationship between the parents and the children. Now, I talked about minimum necessary income. So what is minimum necessary income? Minimum necessary income is the income which a child is earning, which is sufficient to cover the expenses, the household expenses of that child, his or her spouse or children, if the case may be, and it also includes the expenses of the parents. So you have to calculate size of your family to begin with, and then evaluate whether your income is enough to support that family size, the minimum necessary income. Now, how do you calculate this size? If you are a couple and you have 2 children, and there are 2 parents you are intending to bring into Canada on a super visa, it makes it 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. 6 people family, and this a family of 6. The income in minimum necessary income, which is prescribed or which is time to time announced or posted by the immigration authorities on their website, you have to look at that minimum necessary income table. Now, if you are 6 people and your income is well above or decently above the minimum necessary income required per 6 people, you have met this element as well. You have to explain that calculation, you have to explain about your family and list your family members, and at the same time lead evidence to show that your last tax return was good enough to meet the minimum necessary income requirement. And during the process in the application, you should provide the notices of assessment, your tax returns, your T4s, your salary slips, and other evidence to show that you meet the minimum necessary income requirement. Now, here we have discussed your parents. From the child's point of view, the child has to produce evidence, the relationship of evidence. The child has to produce an invitation letter. The child has to produce a minimum necessary income explanation for the parents and all the documents to show that you meet that requirement. Now, from the parent point of view, the parents have to not only produce all the documents to demonstrate that they are bona fide temporary residents, but they also have to provide a minimum of $100,000 travel insurance or super visa insurance which covers their stay in Canada and certain other requirements if they need any medical assistance in Canada. The second requirement from the parents is it's besides the super visa insurance is the upfront medical examination. They have to undergo an upfront medical examination from one of the panel physicians in their home country, and they have to provide the evidence or the receipt that they have undergone that upfront medical examination outside of Canada. So meeting all other requirements and specific requirements of the super visa application is the key to success. If you miss any of the elements or a single documents, we have seen that the visa officers, they have very low tolerance for this,